G'day, this is the Bard Monk, giving you part 2 of the Pastor's Dilemma. Where I left off is that we were just finished sealing the outside property with salt and olive oil. And how I do that is that we do dig a small trench all the way around the house. When it's necessary, it's necessary. It didn't take that long. And by the end of the day, we had the complete house sealed, except for that room. And he looked at me and he said, "Well, you're tired. I'm definitely tired. I'm hungry. You're hungry. Let's go get some food." I said, "Will she come out of there?" And he goes, "No, she hasn't come out of there in days, weeks, well, a while. It seems she can't." So we went and got some food, and he said, "Well, you go and rest." He said, "I'm going to go home and sleep on the couch again." And he said, "Maybe tomorrow we can deal with this." He said, "Then Sunday you can preach." I went, "Sounds good." I said, "One more day should do it." So went to sleep, and I did a lot of praying, not much sleeping. A lot of interceding, a lot of asking, getting a lot of detail and a lot of questions to ask the next day. Met him at the diner for breakfast, and then he drove me back to his house. The minute I walked in the door again, the thing that had, and you can't say possessed because it wasn't possessed, but had overshadowed her, spoke. Not from her, but I could hear it, and it said, "You won't win." And I ignored it. And then she said, "Dear, dear, oh, you're back. Just a few gold coins. You can have me for hours." And I went, "Oh God, let's get this done." The rest of the house was sealed. It was just that one point that needed to be done. And I asked him some very interesting questions. I said, "Have you both been traveling?" And he goes, "Yes, we've been on a couple of mission trips." I said, "Well, where have you been?" And he goes, "Well," he said, he said it was kind of mundane. We went up to northern Oregon and we worked with some of the Indians up there. He said nothing much happened on that one. He said, "But we did a really exciting one after that." And I said, "What was that?" And well, we went to Egypt, to Cairo, and we did some mission work there, and then we went and seen a lot of the sites, and it was really amazing. I said, "That sounds cool." And he said, "Well, what was even more cool is we got invited from that into another area, and we went there, and we found out it was one of the cities of the Babylonian Empire that they were unearthing at this dig site, and we got permission to actually go and look." That was pretty amazing. The person that was running the dig had a picture that was very amazing of an old pillar room, and it was very beautiful. It had a table with fruit on it, and it was very pretty. My wife seemed to be completely enamored with it, and he noticed, and he said, "Oh, that," he said, "you can have it." He said, "It's not from the dig." He said, "It's not from any dig. It was painted for me." He said, "And I'd love to give it to you as a gift." So she accepted it as a gift, and he unhooked it from the wall and rolled it up, and we brought it home. And I said, "And that's when the strange activity started?" And he goes, "How do you know?" I said, "Just following the clues." And he goes, "Wow." He goes, "Yeah, that's when the strange activity happened. She started to get different and loose, I guess is what you would call it. Excuse me, I'm a fundamental pastor of loose. Wow, yeah. That's what I'd have to say. I had to keep her at home, or she would have started propositioning the people at the church, and we would have really had a problem. And then one morning I woke up in Babylon. Well, that's kind of it. My bed everything was gone. I was laying on the floor in call those thing a toga? I think they're a toga. With a wrapped thingy around me and my wife. And she was looking at me going, well, dear, how many people are you going to bring me today to? And I said, you don't need to continue. He goes, oh, good. Well, anyway. He said, is it by any chance connected to that picture? I said, very. I said, that's the dimensional thread that was used to weave this reality that she sits in right now. I said, there had to be a breach in the hedge. And he goes, well, he said, just before we went to that dig, which I really didn't want to go, you talk about intuition, so it's okay. My intuition was saying no, no go, no, bad. Very bad spiritual place. And it was one of the first times me and my wife had kind of had a tiff. I said, real fight? Yeah, real fight. I said, was it settled? No, wasn't really settled. But I went because she wanted to go. It's her curiosity, not mine. And I said, and how was this guy that you talked to at the dig site? Oh, well, he was your typical, And he goes, so that's the breach. I go, well, yeah, she went there. And she was feeling angry and frustrated at you, and he was, and beautiful, he goes, and something strange about him. I said, yes. I said, you were set up. He goes, why? I said, we aren't doing much in this small town. He said, I see a few people saved. He said, nothing major. I said, well, yeah, but you were traveling to Cairo and talking to people about Christ. I said, it's going to cause some waves. And I said some other things. And plus, the spirits love to play with Puritans. And that's what you were looked at like. So I wouldn't call us Puritans, but we do walk pretty straight to the wire. And I said, and messing you up and messing the church up would have been fun. And so they gave you a dimensional picture, which is really a dimensional thread. He goes, well, how do we deal with it? I said, well, one, we got to get a hold of the picture. And I said, but now the picture is the reality. I said, so we're going to ask God to give us a hand and close the reality. So that's not something I can do. It's something you can do because you have the authority of the home. So he prayed. He wasn't really sure it was going to happen, and I was praying with him. And he walked in, and his bedroom was back. His wife was laying there kind of confused. She had some memory of what had happened and was very embarrassed by the whole thing. And the picture was back on the wall. I walked over and rolled it up and sealed it. And spoke a sacred name of God over it, and it turned to flames and disappeared. She looked at her husband. She said, I'm so sorry. She said, we should have never gone to that dig site. And I knew it, but I wanted to go. Curiosity. He said, you're forgiven. And he said, forgive me for holding things against you. I should have never done that either. So there was a great healing in that home that day. She never showed any activity like that again. I was in contact with them for a few years. House returned to normal, the kids returned home, and everything was great. So here ends my story. And yes, it is strange and weird, but it's what I deal with. So, till next time, this is the Bard Monk signing off, saying, have an amazing day.